Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. So in this video we are going to do one of the Gods of Destruction events, or basically one of the newer harder contents in Dbz Dokkan battle. It's kind of like a cross between an LGE and a SBR. You get two items and you basically have to kill quite a strong boss, and each boss has its gimmick. So this boss here, Mosco, he basically AoE attacks, and he is only physical type. So we're going to go with a all strength Majin Buu / Battle of Wits team. And basically what we've done is we've put the free to play strength Krillin on the team with the free to play LR Vegito. We've gone with double strength Vegito leads, and then we've gone with the EZA for Android 18 alongside the World Tournament summonable support in the form of Gohan Teen. And that's pretty much going to be our team. We also have the Trunks from the Broly banner, the General Pool SSR that was added in then, and it's going to be a relatively straightforward encounter. So the reason we have Krillin is because Krillin gains 50% damage reduction when his guard is activated. When you are taking type advantage attacks, your guard is always activated, which means Krillin's basically always going to have 50% damage reduction. We're then going to have both Vegitos, who are going to act as our main source of damage, heal, and pretty much tanking. They will tank more than fine when they are in their base form. Mosco doesn't seem to hit very hard from normal attacks, and the only thing really to worry about is his AoE super, which can cause a lot of problems. Due to the fact that we're going to be taking damage on each unit, and not every unit we have is suitably tanky enough, we are going to be running double heal items in the form of Android 8, which is a big heal and a 2-turn 50% defensive buff. Beyond that, everything else is going to be pretty straightforward. The damage reduction on the base Vegitos is going to be perfectly fine until they transform, whereby they'll be our main sources of damage. The Trunks doesn't really provide much support, but he's decently tanky and he has a solid enough attack buff. He's not going to be able to do too much more really, because he can't stack his defense because we do not have a Gohan Youth on the team. But it's more than fine right now because he's just acting as another tanky unit. The Android 18 is going to have her full passive activated by having Krillin on the team, which means she's going to have a slight form of damage reduction, additional crit chance, additional support for the rest of the rotation, and with her EZA stats and her very impressive baseline abilities, she's going to be one of our main units. She's going to have some great tanking ability, some great damage ability, and she's going to be really nice to have floating around the team. The next unit we have is obviously the free-to-play Vegito. He's going to stack his attack and defense when we get his 12 key, but basically he's just there to provide some extra stats, some additional damage, and some pretty good tanking. He's also a solid free-to-play option, so I've included him in the team. Beyond that, that's pretty much everything important on the team. The final piece being the World Tournament Gohan. He has 58% damage reduction as a baseline, and he provides support to all super class allies, which is going to be super helpful in terms of bringing out some extra damage. But the main ability that we have is really realistically going to be the damage from our LR Vegitos. They're going to be the ones that are going to be doing all the hard work. Mosco cannot be sealed, he cannot be stunned, cannot have his attack and defense lowered, but beyond that he only really does a highly damaging AoE. The Vegitos are going to allow us to see that AoE, not that it's going to help too much, but it is going to at least allow us to get off as much damage before it as possible, and of course also position them so they can take the most normal attacks. Beyond that as well, the Vegitos are going to obviously provide their critting. Critting is the #1 source of damage in all of these events, so having them with their baseline greater chance to crit is really going to help increase the amount of damage that we can pull out here. In terms of team building for this, for most of these I suggest going with mono style teams, or the most mono style teams you can. Or including units that have guard, because obviously that's going to greatly reduce the amount of damage that you're going to take from these units. Beyond that, it's pretty much just a race. Once you run out of healing, or once you run out of the ability to heal, or you can't keep your defense up high enough, you will eventually lose out to the bosses because they are not only quite tanky, but they can dish out some pretty nasty effects. Units like Mosco, for example, do an AoE super attack, but units like Champa do a defense reduction ability on their super attack, which can cause a lot of problems after you take it. Beyond that, really the only number one strategy in terms of team building, like I said, is picking those mono units. And then of course building around strong leader skills. I definitely suggest units like Vegito. Vegeta could definitely be very good. SS4 Vegeta is a great selection for this. He can run himself, he can run SS4 Goku, he can run SS3 Vegeta. So there is another option for a team build, plus he's got that 120% strength lead. And he also obviously leads the Vegeta's family. Picking units that specialize in, say for example, Universe Survival Saga units is also going to help because all the gods count as being Universal Survival Saga. So that's really another strategy you can go for. Units like SSBKK Goku are going to be really helpful here. And you could go for an extreme team because he is super type, and then that would help you out. If you have units like Janemba, LR Broly might be suitable in that second slot. The only issue is if Mosco supers first, so sometimes you'll notice that he'll super before any of your units can get off super attacks. This is a real issue, especially for second and third slot units that rely on supering to generate their defense, because that's not going to happen before your super attacks, which is going to cause a hell of a lot of damage to your team. But we've got Vegito cooking up here. He's really dishing out the damage. Realistically, this really is the number one form of offense that we have. It's just Vegito basically critting him down from all his weak normal attacks. Keeping units like, Android 18 and the LR Vegito as well are really going to help out in terms of damage and tankiness. But that's realistically our number one primary offensive units. You could definitely replace Trunks in this lineup for sure. I think Trunks could be replaced with something that does a bit more damage. Any unit that has about 100k defense and that does any more damage than Trunks is probably suitable. The main reason being is Trunks was just the one unit I had that kind of fit onto this category, and obviously I like Trunks. And then Krillin does a great job in terms of defense, but his offensive numbers are really not great, and very similarly to Teen Gohan. The only reason I would not suggest dropping Teen Gohan if you have him is unless you have another suitable type of super category support or anything. You can struggle for ki on your units because this team links a little bit wonky. So you're going to maybe just need to keep that into consideration. But beyond that, any kind of build is fine. I think those three units, Trunks, Teen Gohan, and Krillin, can be quite easily interchangeable. Vegito himself can be replaced by pretty much any LR that's relatively tanky, has shocking speed, and does decent damage. I think there's quite a few LRs like that. The only issue, again, obviously, is just the fact that it's going to depend on what you have as a player. You can look, if you have all the components of this team, great, you can build this team, you can use it, that's fine. If you don't have all the components, obviously you're going to struggle. So that's just one of those things that you do need to keep in mind. But that being said, the Majin Buu Saga category is quite diverse, so if you're looking at running it, there are still a couple other options out there that you can use. So it's not all doom and gloom. So it's quite challenging, these events, but I think they can be worked around to a certain extent. It just depends on what you have in your box. Multiple typing teams aren't really going to cut it for the most part, just because they can take too much damage on units that don't have the correct typings, unless you have quite high damage reduction or guard ability or anything like that. But we're going to heal up here. With the Vegeta, I do think we're going to be perfectly fine. We're going to take out Mosco here. So overall, this run was pretty good, pretty quick as well. They're not the longest events in the world, so it was a pretty good, pretty quick run. We did some really good damage here. The Android 18 and the Vegetos carried most of the offensive work. So if you are looking to run this exact team, those are the units you're definitely going to need. And then the rest you can build around depending on what you've got. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it from me, guys. We'll watch Vegito finish out this unit pretty much here, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. But yeah, let me know how you guys are finding the God events. I know a lot of you are new players. I know a lot of new players can't even start these events really, but it's something to look forward to, and it's a new form of difficult content, which makes it quite fun and entertaining, you know, especially for people like me who are looking for something that's not SBR or ESBR. So yeah, it was really cool to do, and I'll start posting them all up on the channel. And yeah, as we finish them one by one, you guys can let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts on team builds. But that looks like that's it for Mosco, and yeah, let me know how you guys find things down below. But again, as always, thanks you guys for watching the video, and until the next time, stay safe, stay well, and cheers, and bye!